Start us off, Callum.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to CastPod Ranks. We are continuing our series of ranking all of the Godzilla monsters with kaiju expert himself, Tom.
Hello.
Tom.
Yep. And we've waited exactly 1 week, just like the first one.
Exactly.
Yes. We even put on
We're
the
prepared.
clothes.
I've been fired. I haven't left this chair. It smells terrible.
Yucky. But you know what's not yucky? Godzilla. Tom, tell us about Godzilla.
Oh, where do I begin? Oh, my childhood. Godzilla is my favorite character in all of pop culture history. I love Godzilla. He is the best. He is so cool. This only shows the Heisei version of Godzilla, so I'm assuming that we will be taking every form of Godzilla into account here, or at least the main series.
Yeah.
So Godzilla is a giant radioactive dinosaur who was originally created in 1954 due to atomic testing. He destroyed Japan for a while. Then he became good and fought off bad monsters who were trying to destroy Japan. That was in the Showa era in the 60s. Then he came back in the Heisei era, kind of as a bad guy in the beginning, but then once again started fighting less for humanity's sake and more for the Earth's sake. And then Millennium series in the 2000s, again, similar story, fighting for the Earth, less humanity, and following into the Legendary series and the Shin Godzilla Japanese movie in 2016. So Godzilla, of course, has his signature atomic ray that he shoots from his mouth. This has many forms. It can be supercharged into the red spiral ray, which is his most powerful breath attack. He can regenerate. He is a great swimmer. He can do atomic bursts from his body. He has wicked sharp teeth and claws. Very perceptive knowledge of kind of combat in a sense in a lot of his forms. He is, of course, huge. He leaves radioactive waste wherever he goes. So almost every area where Godzilla is will be uninhabitable. In earlier
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Had to get that one in there, didn't you? You got me all hyped and then you ruined it. In Shin Godzilla in 2016 from Japan, which was the first Japanese Godzilla movie in a while, he can shoot lasers out of his spines and his tail. And can also deploy little kind of humanoid versions of himself. He is known to kind of not give birth, but I'm looking for the word, but like not clone himself, but like lay eggs without parthenogenesis. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is a male, but he can lay eggs to give birth to a son. He can absorb radiation. To a certain extent. More about that in the first part, about how Godzilla absorbed too much radiation one time. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of enemies. He has some friends, and he lives on Monster Island, and he is the best.
I got enemies. Got a lot of enemies. Written by Godzilla.
Yes, the king of the monsters.
So not very cash money, probably.
Probably. That picture actually looks like that meme. You just put the sunglasses over it, and it looks pretty accurate.
He's literally saying that wasn't very cash money of you. Well, what do you think, Tom? Where do you think this belongs?
I think he's God tier, easy. I mean, he's the OG. He's the whole reason that any monster movie has any sort of traction, ever. King Kong would not exist anymore if Godzilla.
Though.
They're meant for each other.
They are looking at each other. With the first one we ranked, the good old Porcupine Ankylosaurus, we said he was the OG villain, so we put him in the middle. Because it can only be better or worse than this one. Shouldn't we put Godzilla in the Kong tier because he's the OG good guy? So it can only be better.
But he's not always good guy. I feel like we put Anguirus there because he was OG, but he was also bad. Like, he really doesn't have anything. Like, Godzilla is very versatile. And obviously, I'm extremely biased, but for me, if we're doing a Godzilla ranking tier list, I feel like Godzilla has to be in the top.
After this,
I can
I
agree
want
with
to
that.
see all the ones that like you know how you can view some of the previously made ones.
Yeah.
I want to see
How other
where
people.
I want to see where he ranks on like other ones, just out of curiosity.
I was kind of hoping that there would be the different forms. Like I was hoping there would be like the Showa Godzilla, the Heisei Godzilla, the Legendary Godzilla. But beggars can't be choosers, and we'd be here forever if we had every form of every monster. But
Oh god, yeah, there are some lists
There
like
is
that.
some,
Don't worry.
and it's like
I know I've done them myself.
Nice. Well then, I mean, yeah, I don't
But
think
yeah,
this might
I
be
personally think Godzilla is.
I think it's too high.
Yeah, where would you put him, Kevin?
Well, you also wanted the octopus and God tier. Oh,
You're right.
I mean, look at him. You're so cute.
Somebody's not where they're supposed to be.
they're looking into each other's eyes.
I would
No,
say
they
though, I mean,
should be
that's
under his
brutal.
foot.
I would
So,
say, like
Squash,
for the bit,
squash.
the king tier because he's like the first OG, like I said earlier. But honestly, the Kaiser tier because Boulder Snorf and who's that?
Kaigen.
Gigan. I feel like they just have so many more cooler upgrades than just normal Godzilla. Like, where's
But
his
like,
chainsaw hands?
Godzilla still comes out on top in the end. You know?
Yeah, Godzilla has beaten
He's
both
the
of them.
title character. In the My Hero Academia one, we didn't rank Deku top.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
But Deku's also not the strongest. All Might's the strongest.
I'm also very fickle about what these rankings actually refer to. You know?
No, I don't.
Because like, it could be power, it could be how cool they are, it could be how memeable they are. You know?
It's true.
That's fair.
Because logically, Gabra is stronger than Baragon, but he's also lame, so that's why he's in the bottom.
Well, let's we have to have a tiebreaker then between God and Kaiser.
I will never forgive you if you put Godzilla in Kaiser and not in God tier.
What should we do?
I will leave this Discord channel. You don't have to make him the top. You don't have to make him the choice, but I think he deserves to be in the God tier, to be considered at least.
What do you think? What do you think we should do, Kevin?
All right, well, we can meet in the middle. We make him God tier, but rule him out of the running of the CastPod choice.
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
I'm good with that compromise.
What are you naming? Oh god, what are you gonna name this one? Is it gonna just be like Gabra? Oh, you had to do it to me. The 1-2 punch.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, my heart. Wait, you haven't seen some of the other ones in this list. You might want to save that slot for some of the other guys in this list because we got some stinkers coming up.
Oh dear. Well, that's where he's gonna sit right now until the end, where we decide what to do with him. But for now,
Fine.
on to the next one.
Okay, so we have Gorosaurus here. So Gorosaurus originally was a King Kong villain, but he resides on Monster Island. He's basically a big T-Rex. He is in Destroy All Monsters, and I think he's in King Kong Escapes. So he was originally, he was designed to be a King Kong villain, similar to like the T-Rex that Kong always breaks the mouth of or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty agile. He can jump and like in Destroy All Monsters, he gives Ghidorah a nice drop kick, which is pretty cool. And he can burrow underground. He does not have any breath attacks or anything like that. He's basically just a big T-Rex. So, but he's big T-Rex. He's not like the Condor, where the Condor was like half the size of Godzilla. He's like Godzilla's size. He just doesn't have the atomic. He just doesn't have that atomic breath. Yes, and his arms are slightly larger, almost like Velociraptor-like.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's all right.
So wait, what?
Cool, but also pretty dooky.
Yeah,
Was
I
that
agree.
actually the one in the more recent Kong movie where he breaks the mouth?
No, that was just a T-Rex.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you would know if it was Gorosaurus. Gorosaurus is kind of interesting. He has a very long tongue. That's something, I guess, that's pretty interesting. He doesn't use it. That's part of the suit. And yes, he's very top heavy. His head is very large, but he's got his moves include the kangaroo kick, where he kind of leans back on his tail's weight and kicks that way.
Wait, not that classic GIF. That's Godzilla, isn't it?
No, that's Godzilla. I know what GIF you're talking about. That's Godzilla, but in Destroy All Monsters, he leans back on his tail and kind of like a kangaroo and kicks Ghidorah, and then Ghidorah falls down. So
stronger than Ghidorah, canonically.
Canonically, yes. Let alone the fact that Ghidorah is basically being killed by
who?
A gang in that movie, but we'll talk about that later.
That's fine. All right.
Destroy All Monsters. Everybody.
I feel like this is a good one for either Monarch or maybe King.
I would say King.
I was gonna say Monarch, but it's up to again. He's got that classic feel, so I'd be okay with King as well.
Yeah,
it's hard because we have that that nostalgia versus power kind of thing.
What are you saying, Kevin?
He's got references in a lot of or kind of fake versions of him in other movies, and he's not a high king, but he's he creeps in there.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I think he might be low king tier. That'd be good. Good fit for Gorosaurus. Okay. Good question. So this is Hedorah, otherwise known as the Smog Monster. So this monster was in possibly the weirdest Godzilla movie ever made. So much so that the director... No, that's a different one. That's by Alonso. About that one. This one, he's basically pollution as a creature. The director of the movie, the director of this movie was not the original director for the Godzilla movies in the 60s. And once the original director saw this movie, he banned the guy who made it from ever making a Godzilla movie again. So that's an interesting fact.
It was that bad.
It's very psychedelic. It's very weird. It's a lot of sexual kind of scenes that are not explicit sex, but there's a lot of strip club kind of drug induced what do you call that? LSD. I could not speak. LSD induced visuals. But yeah, Hedorah is a smog monster. He causes pollution and smog to the effect where people within 15 miles of him, when they are in the area, they just melt because of his toxicity. Kind of like Muck, but on a grand scale. He can shoot a red laser beam from his eye, which is pretty interesting. And he can transform into a flying version of himself, which is kind of this almost, I don't know if either of you have ever played Halo, but it's kind of like a flood ship. It's it looks like a spaceship, but it's got sickness coming off of it, and he can fly around like that and shoot the laser beam as well. But yeah, he's very large compared to Godzilla in the movie. He's kind of a foreboding presence, an all-encompassing, he just morphs around you kind of thing. So a lot of his attacks are physical, just hitting you with all this sludge. He has his red eye beam attack, and he stinks, and he's toxic. So, and this is also the movie where Godzilla tucks his tail under him. Godzilla tucks his own tail under him and shoots his atomic breath to fly. So if you've ever seen that GIF, that's from this movie.
Huh.
Yeah, he's
appropriate tier for this guy.
Yeah, honestly.
He's legitimately a monster that it's a poison, a conscious poisonous cloud. That sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
And then I don't know. Apparently, the LSD. Weird.
I mean, he doesn't cause that. That's just a movie.
Okay.
That's just the way. I was trying to give reasoning for why the movie was banned, but yeah, he's also. I know earlier in the first part we mentioned how in Godzilla Final Wars, Ibira kind of gets folded by Godzilla and shot into another monster. This is the other monster that Ibira gets launched into. So they kind of get taken out together. But he also can go underwater. So he can kind of like dissolve himself in water and stuff. So
my question
he's alright.
is,
yeah,
is
your
his
question.
greatest villain a vacuum cleaner that can just vacuum up all the, or like a leaf blower that can just dissipate all of his smog?
That's a good question. A lot of the imagery in the beginning of the movie is very like blob-esque, of like the slow, like creeping kind of sludge coming into the houses and stuff. So that might be the way to solve it.
I'm feeling like, how do I feel about this monster?
How do you feel about this monster?
I don't even know if I have a question for it, because like it's pretty easy to understand. It's pollution monster.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm feeling like a monarch vibe from this.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Because
I
he's
would agree with
definitely
that.
stinky.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I'm gonna put him right there. Just because like it's an interesting idea, but also I think it's like an idea that's been done many a time before. And I just like I look at the ones above it and I'm like, definitely not as cool as these guys, but also just not like a large animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Gabra.
Or yeah, it's just
I love how it's like, oh yeah, all the large animals and Gabra.
So what's this whole man doing here?
This is Jet Jaguar. So Jet Jaguar appeared in one movie, Godzilla vs. Megalon, and he was a good guy. He's a robot cyborg that was created by a scientist, and he's actually the size of a regular human. But when you control him, you can make him morph to the size of Godzilla and even taller than Godzilla. So he has a normal Godzilla size, and he has like a double Godzilla size, so he can become really big.
So he's part Ant-Man.
He can fly. His main attacks are all karate moves, so he can like does like kicks and flips and all sorts of like kind of Ultraman-y kind of stuff. This guy was designed by a child, so they had a competition to see what the new monster was going to be. So the kid who won drew Jet Jaguar because it looks kind of like Ultraman, so I think that's kind of it's like their discount Ultraman.
Yeah.
I think he can shoot lasers from his eyes. I think he only did it once, but that is a possibility. He can fly. This was also the creature that held down Megalon while Godzilla did the infamous sliding dropkick on his tail.
Amazing.
And he has a theme song. He has his very own theme song at the end of the movie, where they had an official like band come and sing about Jet Jaguar, and then they like sing in Japanese about how he can like morph his size and how great he is, and yeah.
Wow.
Can
so
we make a Jet Jaguar theme?
Well, the Jet Jaguar is also in the Netflix show, the Godzilla Singular Point. So I'm interested to see if they do anything with that. Though he looks kind of weird in that one. He's like a box with like a head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, instead of my question, I was gonna say fun fact in the new Godzilla Singular Point, which I'm watching currently. He's like kind of the main guy, although it's not like he's controlled by other people. Like he's more of a mech than a cyborg. And also, so far that show sucks like a lot, so that's unfortunate.
That does suck.
But I mean, that's
I guess,
a topic for another day.
I guess he's more of an android because he doesn't have any like human parts. I guess that's an important distinction. Like unlike Gigan, he doesn't have any biological component. He's just a robot, but he has like intelligence, or at least some intelligence.
Yeah, in the show, it's just like a guy kind of gets in it and uses him. But he couldn't even beat Rodan, so what's up with that? Oh, what just happened?
I'm really offended by that.
No, I'm back.
What can I say? I mean, I speak the truth, Tom. You can't escape.
I speak the truth. Okay, so what are y'all feeling for Jaguar? Or you got any more questions?
I have a question about Jet Jaguar. You said it
Yeah.
can do karate moves and fly and stuff. Was this with the intention of making an action figure about it?
Probably. I would imagine that most of these creatures were designed in part due to marketing. But yes, I do have a Jet Jaguar figure, as I have a figure of most of these characters. But he doesn't have like superposable limbs like karate moves. But
will your Jet Jaguar figure
what was that?
Prominent role in your new apartment? centerpiece.
Me and Aaron have discussed putting my Godzilla figures on display, so we will see how that kind of turns out.
How do you feel about Jet Jaguar in terms of this list?
Sorry, you're asking me or Kevin?
I guess anybody who's has
like
strong opinions.
Like the king, kind of.
I was also going to, because he's definitely useful.
He's like useful, but he's also like, I'm a robot that does karate.
He just looks so out of place.
He does look very out of place.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
It's just like you look at all these and you're like, whoa, dinosaur, robot, dinosaur, man.
Dinosaur robot.
But he's really a robot, though. Even though he looks like a man.
True. That's fair.
True. Okay.
I will say, I don't know. Overall, he's probably one of my least favorite characters, just because, like I said, he's so out of place of everything.
He is very out of place.
But we have another robot kind of thing going on here. Well,
that is actually not a robot. That's just a big praying mantis.
Oh,
but I can see where it does. It does. The picture is pretty misleading.
Well, then what is this bug creature?
This is Kamacuras. So Kamacuras are a species of giant praying mantis. They first appeared in Son of Godzilla, which is a weird movie because it all occurs in the imagination of a young child who thinks he can talk to Godzilla. Talk to Godzilla's son, and Godzilla's son is being bullied by the Kamacuras. So they when he's hatching from his egg, they pierce his egg with their pincers and they mess with him and stuff. They're not exquisitely powerful.
Mm-hmm.
There are, I think there's 2 or 3 of them in Son of Godzilla. He does show up again in Godzilla Final Wars as a creature.
Oh.
He is extremely fast and can camouflage himself. So he is not the fastest creature, but he is extremely fast. And yeah, he camouflages himself. He doesn't have any beam attacks or anything like that. But in Final Wars, he does get skewered onto a telephone pole by Godzilla. So that's pretty painful for him. But he's kind of similar to the other kind of just regular animals. He does have the super speed, but that's kind of it.
Seems like a less cool Gigan.
So my question
is, very similar.
Was the movie that they were in based off of a fan fiction that you wrote, or that's
No, if I was being bullied, I would definitely not talk to the son of Godzilla about it. I would talk to again, Destroya. I wouldn't want to talk to son of Godzilla.
To dad.
Yeah, can I talk to your dad? I don't want to care about you.
So
no,
in high school, me and then the son again.
It was the son of Godzilla. Son of Godzilla was created as a way for Japanese fathers to be shown how cool it is to take care of your kids.
Is that legitimate?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. God. Well, it's partly that and partly that kind of that how important family is in Japanese culture, that father-son bond and stuff like that. But yeah, the movie touches on a lot of facets of the kid being abandoned and stuff, and that's why he he has these dreams about being on Monster Island and talking to the son of Godzilla and stuff. But he ends up being a jerk at the end, so it doesn't really pan out. He just ends up becoming a bully and starts bullying all the other kids who were bullying him. So it doesn't really give a good lesson, but yeah, Kamacuras is in it. Also, this is the Kamacuras from Godzilla Final Wars, because the Kamacuras in Son of Godzilla are a reddish color. This one is green.
I feel like it has to go with its brethren, right?
Yeah.
In the normal animal place.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What else is there to say?
Yeah. Okay, so moving. This is another one of them. This is another one of those super, super powerful characters. So this is Kaiser Ghidorah. So Kaiser Ghidorah is the most powerful version of Ghidorah to date, with the exception of Planet Eater Ghidorah from the anime series, which is basically just a space dragon made out of electricity. This is Kaiser Ghidorah. Kaiser Ghidorah is an alien from a meteor. It has only appeared in Godzilla Final Wars and is something like 600 feet or 800 feet tall. It is quadrupedal, unlike the other Ghidorah forms. So he has 4 legs, kind of like a griffin. He has the 3 heads. He has gravity beams, which, of course, are Ghidorah's signature move. But unlike the regular Ghidorah, he can actually pick up his enemies with the beams. So he picks up Godzilla in that movie and throws him into buildings with the beams. He has the ability to suck energy. So he can suck energy through his fangs. So he sucks energy out of Godzilla and then can develop Godzilla-like features based on that energy and use his own energy against them. He is the final form of Monster X, which we are going to talk about later in this list. So I won't talk about Monster X yet because I think Monster X is on this list. Yes, he is. So we'll talk about Monster X's powers later. But yes, Kaiser Ghidorah is extremely powerful, extremely large. He was, in fact, defeated by Godzilla after Godzilla was supercharged with infinite energy from the Kaisers, which are a group of superhuman creatures throughout the galaxy who have the ability to kind of control like their ki and natural life force and put it into other things. So that's why Kaiser in this list is spelled with a Z, because that's what that's from. And yeah, Godzilla eventually kills him, and this is the one that he throws out of atmosphere into space and then blows up with his red spiral ray attack. After giving him a beatdown, which is pretty entertaining.
That's dope.
So,
yes.
Kaiser Ghidorah, it has 3 heads.
Yes.
Is one of those heads shoot Kaiser rolls?
So
good question. No head. Ghidorah breaks a skateboard. No.
What?
I think the legendary Ghidorah has a Kaiser roll as a head, and that's the head appropriately named Kevin by the community. So
nice. My question is, I can't recall if you mentioned this or not. Is this the most powerful form of Ghidorah?
It is.
Without Planet Eater Ghidorah from the anime trilogy, I would say so. It's a tough call between this one and the legendary Ghidorah, because legendary Ghidorah is in fact very powerful. However, legendary Ghidorah was weak to things. Like, he was weak to being attacked. Like, and he has scales and stuff, but like Kaiser Ghidorah's whole body is basically steel. Like, it's not metal, but its skin is so hard that it like Godzilla cannot bite through it.
Oh.
Until he was supercharged, in which case he was able to bite through it finally. But originally he could just he was just being picked up and drained of life. So I would say he's probably the most powerful.
I'm a big Ghidorah fan of like all forms. So
that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
he is pretty awesome.
I'm pretty happy with putting him right up here at the top.
I can support this.
I mean, also like great color scheme. I really like that.
Yeah, he's really cool, especially when he sucks Godzilla's energy, because when he does that, his whole neck glows like this iridescent blue. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Big fan of that one. That's definitely a contender. But what I think will not be a contender is Triangle right here.
How dare you disrespect King Caesar like this? So this is King Caesar. So King Caesar is a historic kind of almost foo dog-like guardian of Japan. Similar in kind of motive to Mothra of like protecting Japan's mainland. He appeared in Godzilla versus... No, excuse me. No, it was... Okay, yes. He appeared in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla in the 60s. Or that might have been the 70s, actually, by that point. He is a bipedal dog, like kind of dog god. Again, similar to some of the other creatures on this list, he's very acrobatic. In Final Wars, he is notorious for doing a soccer match with Godzilla with Anguirus as the ball. So that's a pretty fun scene. He can shoot lasers from his eyes and the gem in his forehead. Yeah, pretty much very dog-like attacks, slashes, bites, that kind of thing. He is awoken by a specific song played on a flute and that scene in the movie actually takes like 5 minutes, like of just straight flute playing for him to show up. Yeah, he's kind of like an ancient deity, but yeah, that's kind of his story.
My question is, I've heard of, you said it was King Caesar.
Yes.
I've heard tales that this being is able to create hot and ready pizzas in 5 minutes.
Now there's an interesting thing.
Are the legends true?
Well, fun fact about this movie, this actually was the movie that scared me the most as a kid, because the bad guys in this movie put the good guy people into they're aliens, they put them into a room and they just continually increase the temperature in the room. So they pretty much try and melt them.
Literally hot and ready.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And I was so scared of that happening to me when I was a kid that I didn't watch this movie for like years. But then I went back and watched it. I'm like, this is so stupid. How was I scared about this? But yeah, there's your answer.
It's a very legitimate answer.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Kevin, questions?
I'm a little upset that you made
the Little Caesars joke.
Little Caesars joke.
You got a material, Kevin.
I was gonna go for a Caesar salad joke, so now it's gonna feel unoriginal. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm making a food joke too. Is he ever attacked by somebody that was once his friend?
No.
I don't know. I'm going for like a Brutus joke.
I mean, technically, he was attacked by Mechagodzilla, which in that movie was disguised as Godzilla beforehand. But like King Caesar never knew that. Only Godzilla knew that he was disguised originally. So I would say no.
Dang. Did he ever rule Rome?
1 month after himself?
What are you guys feeling?
Has he ever been neutered?
That's a good question. I don't know. He might have a big ding dong there. Godlike dong. The god dong.
I would say if he's been neutered, he's definitely lower than if he's not neutered.
I feel like it's probably a monarch tier from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Because he's definitely more useful than the animals, but like he's still not great.
Yeah. Not quite up to soccer ball levels. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. Okay. On to Callum's favorite?
Yeah. It's up there. We'll see.
Okay, so we have King Ghidorah here, the classic Godzilla nemesis, his most famous nemesis. King Ghidorah can fly. He is an alien species. He has 2 tails and 3 heads. Nicknamed the 1,000-Year Dragon and the Golden Dragon. He has played, interestingly enough, both bad guy and in one movie, a good guy role. He has gravity beams, which are basically alien lightning beams. He has control over the weather, so he can cause extreme storms wherever he flies. He can fly upwards of Mach 2, I believe. He can teleport. He has stomping attacks and biting attacks, of course. He can also suck energy out of creatures, similar to Kaiser Ghidorah. Unfortunately, his beams do not move people like Kaiser Ghidorah's does. And he can absorb electricity by swallowing it. And yeah, he is a ruthless creature. And all of his heads have different personalities, which is important. But yeah, so kind of the classic Godzilla nemesis. Appeared in more movies than most Godzilla monsters, except maybe Mothra.
Yeah, as I said, I like this monster a lot. Big fan. Very cool.
You guys have any questions?
Do each of the heads have their own name?
Not that I know of. Not officially, at least. The fandom has named the one head in Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019 Kevin because he's really dumb. Like he was like sniffing the humans in one scene when the main one wanted to like eat the humans. Or he was also the one that got his head ripped off in King of the Monsters by Godzilla, and couldn't get the like film off of himself when he was regenerating. But yes, that's kind of the that's the only name that's been unofficially given to any of them.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And you said he was named Kevin because he was dumb. That's correct.
That's what the community named him. Yes.
Got it. Write that down. Post that in the comments. Everybody.
If you think about it, we're the three heads. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm Kevin. Moving on. I mean, I really like Ghidorah, but
so do I.
Can we put it on the same level as Kaiser Ghidorah?
I think this goes back to our last tier list where we rank the Pokemon games, and it's like you have the original and then you have the more improved version, and we always knock that down a peg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with putting him in Kaiser because he's definitely. This one is the Heisei version in that picture, and he's definitely been beaten by Godzilla many times, you know?
Yeah.
But he's not like this overwhelming, like, planet-destroying force in most of the movies. He's just kind of like a bad guy.
He's definitely up there, but not quite with these guys. And speaking of people that have lost to Godzilla, spoilers.
Whoa, yep. Spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong ahead.
Yeah. Big Monkey.
Big Monkey. So.
Did they lose? I get that ending kind of confused me. I know he got downed and then they had to. Okay, yeah, no, I've talked myself into it. He definitely lost.
Yeah, the history, yes, he lost in that movie, but he won in the original movie.
What?
Well, he again arbitrarily won. There was a scene where they both fall into the ocean. Godzilla doesn't come up out of the water, but Kong does. There was actually a rumor back in the 60s that there was a different version for each country. So there was a version in America where Kong won and in Japan Godzilla won, but that was false. If we're taking into account all the Toho or legendary occurrences of Kong, Kong is a giant monkey with extreme intelligence. He can use tools. He has extreme agility, extreme strength. He is weak to lightning, which is a very important factor in the Toho films. He is weak to lightning. He has fought Mechanicong, a mechanical version of himself, Godzilla, as well as was slated to fight characters such as Gorosaurus and things like that, but didn't because of rights issues. And Godzilla and Mechagodzilla in the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie. He is pretty cool. And he comes from Skull Island, which is a notoriously dangerous place. He eats giant octopuses, and in his history, he has a fascination with human women, but in the more recent Godzilla movies, he does not. He just kind of wants to be left alone. And he has and in the most recent movie, he has an axe made of a Godzilla's spine.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yes.
Is this from the latest one?
That picture?
I think this is the picture of him from Kong Skull Island, because in the newest one, he has kind of this grizzled chin to show that he's mature. Because in the Kong Skull Island, he's not his full height. He's just like a baby.
He's a young
right. Big Monkey.
Exactly, Big Monkey. He's an ape.
I mean, yeah, as cool and as title character worthy King Kong is, that's literally the big animal class.
It is, but I feel like that's slightly disrespectful because I think
he's more useful than
King Kong
than them.
He definitely has more of an impact than everybody else in this tier.
Yeah.
True.
So where do we actually feel about Monkey?
As cliche as it's gonna sound, I was gonna say King, but
I feel like he's a good candidate for King because doesn't have anything super fancy about them, but he's also notable, nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Things can be a lot better than him. Things can be a lot worse than him. Also,
I think
he rips a T-Rex's face wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
He does do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot because I feel like you put Kong up against Ghidorah and Biollante and any of these guys, whether it's a fight or just coolness level. You know, I think he's right down here. That's probably a good spot for him.
Yep. Okay. Stay with me on this one. So this is Kiryu, or Kiryu in English. This is Mechagodzilla 3. So This is the most advanced version of Mechagodzilla aside from the Godzilla vs. Kong version, or the most, I should say, the most recent Mechagodzilla version. He is made by taking mechanics and putting them around the bones of the original Godzilla. And as such, in his debut movie, Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla, when hearing Godzilla's roar, he goes crazy because he remembers what his bones are, like what his original desire was to destroy, and he destroys Japan. His powers include supersonic flight, an energy sword made out of photon beams. He has an absolute zero cannon in his chest, which is his ultimate attack, which can fire at temperatures of 0 Kelvin. So absolute zero. So anything that touches it will freeze and instantly be vaporized. He has rockets. He has kind of this like jetpack attachment that comes with a rocket salvo. He has claws that can grip and like kind of dig into who he's holding. Let me think what else. Yeah, he has electric beams from his eyes and his mouth. He has the rockets from his fingertips, and yes, I think that's kind of it for his attacks. He is piloted by a human, which is interesting. And he has a support fighter that goes along with him to provide like mechanical support if he was to malfunction.
Interesting.
Yep.
Kevin, do you have a question?
So, if all the Mecha Godzillas were to be lined up together, who would rust first?
Bam, bam, bam.
Who would rust first?
Yes.
Other one.
Probably Mechagodzilla 1. Okay. Then again, it's Mechagodzilla 1 is made with space metal because it's an alien, so maybe Mechagodzilla 2.
Is that made with people metal?
Mechagodzilla 2 is made with people metal. Mechagodzilla 2 and 3 are human made. Mechagodzilla 1 is an alien. So it's an interesting distinction.
I have a question, although it doesn't directly link to this Mechagodzilla.
Sure.
In the latest movie,
yes,
when Mechagodzilla has like a mind of its own, is that because like is it like an AI system basically that goes off, or is it like the subconscious like psychic memory of, because they're using Ghidorah's skull, right?
Ghidorah's skull.
Yes, they are.
Kevin.
They are using Ghidorah's skull.
Ghidorah's skull. So
Kevin was tired of getting disrespected.
my like, I don't know if it's a theory or what.
Accounted for.
I don't know if it's like canon or what, but was it like Ghidorah secretly controlling
I believe so.
Godzilla, or do you think it's like just the system went crazy and it's
I think it's Ghidorah, and I'll tell you why. In the scene when they show Mechagodzilla being controlled by that skull, you can hear Ghidorah's cry when the electricity is going into Mechagodzilla. So in my head, that tells me it's a similar situation to Kiryu here, where the bones kind of have this inherent memory.
Yeah.
That they're controlling, because Ghidorah is an alien in the MonsterVerse in the Legendary movies. So like it's logical that to think that there's a possibility that his bones also have memory as opposed to just his brain. Yeah. So that was
that makes it cooler. That's pretty definitely
cool. Yeah, I think so.
Like Ghidorah comes back, but now is the advanced version of its greatest enemy. Like that's sick. I will also say Mechagodzilla is actually my favorite character of all of these.
Really?
Mechagodzilla 1 or like all the Mechagodzillas?
This one. I think this is one, right?
Yeah, that's Mechagodzilla 1. Yeah, he's pretty cool, right?
That one. And I will say it's because back in elementary school, there was a Godzilla game on the Game Boy.
Wait, was it Godzilla Domination?
I don't remember the name of it. I know it was a fighting game for one of the Game Boys, so it must have been back in like early 2000s. And Mechagodzilla was the one I always chose because I was like, it's like Godzilla, but like metal and cool, and yeah, I always picked that, so that was my favorite, and it has stayed true because it just looks dope.
He does look pretty cool.
But this is slightly a different one. So where would we rank Mechagodzilla number Trace?
Definitely like anime Mechagodzilla.
Yes. I mean, it is cool that it's a combination of the bones and the metal.
Yeah.
But people metal, not space metal.
Not space.
Right. So that drops it down already.
I
don't know if you're saying that jokingly or not, but that is a deciding factor for me. Space metal is infinitely cooler than people metal.
That's true.
True.
I would warrant to put him either in Kaiser or High King tier, just because I feel like he has a lot of versatility, and the Absolute Zero Cannon is basically a one shot.
The Absolute Zero Cannon to me puts it in Kaiser.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah.
He's also, I should have mentioned, he's very fast with physical attacks, so he definitely shoulder checks Godzilla like every time they fight.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's
a lot of wrestler vibes with this guy.
Then we're gonna break up the Mechagodzilla chain for this nerd.
This is Kumonga. So Kumonga is a giant spider. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's basically a giant tarantula. He can spit webs. I would say he's a little bit more useful than Kamacuras in terms of power. He's a lot larger. He was a title villain in, I believe, King Kong Escapes. And he was also another similar monster. I might be wrong on that King Kong Escapes bit, but he was a similar monster costume that took like 8 different people to operate because of all of his legs. He can
a costume in the image that looks like CG.
No, it's a costume. That is a costume.
That's crazy.
That's full leather. I don't think they have a person in it. I think they have like strings that kind of move his legs. Yeah, he's a puppet, but he can shoot webs, and those webs can then inherently in midair change into nets and fall on his prey. That was something in Godzilla Final Wars. His string is extremely strong. He's not extremely fast. I don't know if he's venomous or not. I would assume not, because I think he just kind of eats. I don't think anything that would be attacked by him would survive. Bitten, but he's never bitten Godzilla to my knowledge, so I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of just a big spider. He's appeared in 3 movies. Excuse me. He was in Godzilla Destroy All Monsters as well, where he helped Mothra with webbing up King Ghidorah.
Of course.
Of course.
My question to you is: have they ever considered consulting Jim Henson of the Muppets when creating these puppets?
They should, right? They should have.
Crossover of the century right there.
Kermit versus Godzilla. I would pay to see that.
That'd be amazing. My question is, because already I'm thinking it's going to go in the regular animal tier.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I'm looking at the rest of these, and we don't really have many more regular animals here. What do you think is the strongest of the regular animals?
I would say probably either Kumonga or Ibira. I think the octopus is last, then the condor, then Gabara, then Kamacuras, then either Ibira or Kumonga.
So not big condor.
Not big condor. Big condor is the bottom of the barrel.
Rip
to big condor.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think that's a fair place, right?
I would agree. Yeah. I mean, he's cool, but he's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have Manda. Now Manda appeared in 3 movies. One was Atragon, which is a movie about basically a giant drill sub nautical ship that like tries to go to the center of the earth or something. And this kind of ancient dragon is kind of underwater, like an ancient sea serpent. He's very long. He's a long boy. His attacks include like basically like a big snake. He just like wraps around. He has small arms. He has I think 3 pairs of arms along his body. He's also in Destroy All Monsters, where he didn't really do anything. He just kind of like broke a few bridges.
Burning some bridges.
And he was in Godzilla Final Wars, where he was engulfed in flames by the Atragon, or excuse me, by the Gotengo in a reference to the Atragon movie, and then destroyed by a maser cannon. So he's never actually fought Godzilla. I don't think he's ever fought anybody. I think he was present at the fight with Ghidorah at Destroy All Monsters, but he didn't do anything. But he is an ancient like dragon. He's not like just a snake.
Yeah.
And he lives underwater.
I think if you want to see where we list Manda, you should tune in to the next episode of this CastPod Ranks. I know, a cliffhanger, crazy. But yeah, we're gonna rank him on the rest.
I love how that's the cliffhanger. We gotta see what happens with Manda.
Exactly.
Hey, Mechagodzilla's coming up next, so tune in, people.
I mean, we've got some heavy hitters coming in the next one. So like, definitely be there to check it out. Remember to follow us on all of our socials and things. Like and comment and subscribe. As always, we will see you in the next one with Manda.